I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you. These are the powerful words attributed to a man who changed the very course of history. What does it truly mean to lead? Is it about strength alone? Is it about bending the world to your will? Or is there something deeper, something more fundamental at play? In books like Jack Weatherford's Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World, we begin to see a picture that is far more complex than the simple stories we are often told. We find a leader whose methods, though forged in a brutal and unforgiving time, hold lessons that echo into our own modern world, challenging our very ideas about what it takes to unite people and build something that lasts far beyond a single lifetime. Before he was the great Khan, he was a boy named Temujin. Imagine a world with no safety net, no police to call, no laws to protect you. Your survival depended entirely on the strength of your family and your tribe. This was the world Temujin was born into. And then, at the tender age of 9, his world shattered. His father, a minor clan leader, was poisoned by rivals. In an instant, Temujin's family was abandoned by their own tribe, left to fend for themselves on the harsh, unforgiving Mongolian steppe. They were outcasts, hunted and alone. This was not the beginning of a great ruler. It was the beginning of a struggle for simple survival against impossible odds. He and his family survived by foraging for roots and hunting for small animals. It was during these formative years that he learned his first and most crucial lesson. Loyalty is not something you are born with. It is something you earn. In the world of the 12th century Mongol tribes, your destiny was decided the moment you were born. If your father was a powerful chieftain, you would be powerful. If he was a simple herder, you would be a herder. Genghis Khan saw this system for what it was, a waste of human potential. He decided to do something radical, something that completely shattered the old ways. He began to build his army and his government based on merit, not on birthright. Imagine a sports team where the coach only picked his friends and relatives, ignoring the most talented players. That team would lose every single time. Genghis Khan understood this simple principle and applied it to everything he did. A shepherd who was a brilliant archer could become a commander. A former enemy who proved his loyalty and skill in battle could be given a position of great responsibility. This system of meritocracy did more than just create an effective army. It tore down the old tribal divisions that had caused so much conflict for centuries. You were no longer just a Taichud. You were a Mongol. A group of talented individuals is just a crowd. To become a team, they need a shared purpose, a common goal that is bigger than any single person. Genghis Khan was a master at creating this sense of shared vision. He didn't just tell his people to fight. He gave them something to fight for. For the first time, he offered the warring tribes of the steppe an idea of something greater, a unified Mongol nation. A nation where trade would be safe, where a universal law would protect everyone, and where their children would not have to live in constant fear of the next tribal war. This vision was embodied in a set of laws he created, known as the Yasa. While no complete original copy exists today, we know from historical accounts that it was a revolutionary code of conduct. It mandated religious freedom, a concept almost unheard of at the time. The Yasa was more than just a list of rules. It was a promise. It was a promise that everyone, from the lowest soldier to the highest general, was part of a single, orderly system where justice applied to all. The world is constantly changing. The strategies that work today might be useless tomorrow. Genghis Khan seemed to understand this at a core level. The Mongols were masters of the open steppe, brilliant horsemen and archers, but they knew nothing of siege warfare, of how to attack the massive walled cities of China and Persia. A lesser leader might have seen this as an insurmountable obstacle, but for Genghis Khan it was simply a new problem to solve. He didn't cling to the old ways. He adapted. He actively sought out new knowledge and new technologies wherever he went. When his armies encountered a fortified city, they didn't just give up. They captured engineers, scholars, and craftsmen from the lands they conquered. They learned from their enemies. They studied their techniques for building siege engines like catapults and battering rams. They quickly became experts in a type of warfare that had been completely alien to them just years before. This is perhaps the most critical lesson for us in the 21st century. We live in an age of unprecedented change. The ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn is no longer just an advantage. It is a requirement for survival. The empire that Genghis Khan forged did not last forever. No empire does. But the ideas he set in motion echoed through the centuries, fundamentally reshaping the world in ways we can still feel today. By tearing down the old walls between warring tribes and kingdoms, he inadvertently created the largest free trade zone the world had ever seen. The Silk Road, once a dangerous and fragmented collection of paths, was unified and protected under Mongol rule. For the first time in centuries, goods, ideas, and technologies could flow freely between East and West. Gunpowder from China made its way to Europe, forever changing the nature of warfare. In a very real sense, the empire of Genghis Khan laid the groundwork for the interconnected global community we live in today. He didn't just conquer the world, he connected it. Of course, we cannot and should not ignore the immense cost of this transformation. This is the great paradox of Genghis Khan's legacy. His actions caused immense destruction, but they also cleared the way for a new kind of world to be born. When we look back, we see the echoes of his principles everywhere. The idea of a professional army based on merit rather than aristocracy became the model for modern militaries. So we come back to our original question. What does it truly mean to lead? The story of Temujin, the outcast boy who became Genghis Khan, the ruler of the world, offers us some profound, if complicated, answers. It teaches us that true strength is forged in adversity. It shows us the incredible power of building a team based on what people can do, not where they come from. It reminds us that a group of people can achieve the impossible when they are united by a shared vision of a better tomorrow. These are not just lessons from a history book. They are timeless principles of human organization. Think about the challenges we face today in our own communities and as a global society. We don't need to be conquerors to apply these ideas. We can be unifiers. We can choose to judge people by the content of their character and the quality of their work. We can strive to create and communicate a clear, inspiring vision for our families, our companies, or our communities. The tools Genghis Khan used were swords and arrows, but the principles he employed were about people, and those principles are universal. Every single one of us is a leader in some capacity, and every day we are building our own legacy, one decision at a time. So the final question is not about Genghis Khan, it's about us. What kind of world are we building, and what legacy will we choose to leave behind?